Hi there, welcome back to the Apatros Review. In this episode, Planet Outlaws, directed by Ford Beebe and Saul A. Goodkind in the year 1953. And this is basically installment number 5 of Public Domain Madness. Hi there, welcome back to the Apatros Review, your guide to the wild world of science fiction action and horror. With me, your host, Miller Sipka. Now in this episode, the Public Domain Madness keeps on going. And we look at Planet Outlaws, which was one of those condensed version of the original 1930s Buck Rogers serial. Now this is a public domain title, so it'll be easy to find, both the condensed version and the original Buck Rogers serial, which is a 4-hour, 12-part episode serial on YouTube and on various public domain multipacks. Shouldn't be too hard to find. Yeah, in a way, it kind of reminds me of the Rocky Jones Space Ranger serial of the 1950s, and I've got plenty of those to review in the future. Anyway, now, as for this film, this was actually released in 1953, and the original serial that it was based on was released in the 1930s. Now, as for the story, in 1938, an airship expedition to the North Pole goes awry when the airship is downed in an avalanche. Pilot Buck Rogers and his first mate Buddy Wade use an experimental gas to preserve themselves in a sort of cryogenic hibernation. 500 years later, in the year 2438, their bodies are found and revived by scouts working for a group of resistance fighters fighting a war against the planet's dictator, Killer Kane, a former gangster and powerful businessman who has used an invention of his, a mind-suppressing helmet, turns anybody wearing it into a work-obsessed zombie slave to form a robo-battalion, or as they say in this film, robot, and rise to power Hitler style. The resistance, hiding in a fortified hidden city in the mountains, need the assistance of the colony of Saturn to defeat Killer Kane, but the despot is already on its way to wining and dining the Saturn colony's representative, Prince Talon, to join his side. Rogers, Wade, the resistance top soldier Lieutenant Wilmer Deering, and a fleet of spaceships that sound as if they are powered by 100 electrical razors joined together, judging by the electric bzzz you hear when they're in flight, and engines that emit electric sparks. Oh, the 1930s. Head to Saturn to defeat Killer Kane's fleet of flying irons and get that pesky alliance thing sorted out before their cause is doomed. Now, Buck Rogers was one of the classic heroes of 1930s comic strip science fiction, along with Flash Gordon, and both were brought to life in theatrically released cliffhanger serials that played once a week in cinemas at the time. They were both played by Larry Buster Crabbe, who must have wondered which character he was playing at times, given the only difference between the two heroes was the color of their hair. The 1939 4-hour-long 12-episode serial Buck Rogers was enormously popular in its day, and in 1953 the decision was made to try and introduce the children of those children who saw the original serial on its day to their parents' affection to the character, by editing the whole serial down from 4 hours to about 75 minutes and release the result as Planet Outlaws. It didn't exactly work out too well. The only recommendation I would give to those who want to see this condensed version is to see it as a sort of Reader's Digest condensed edition version, in reference to the many books that were edited down a fair bit so Reader's Digest could fit them in their various full-feature hardcover volumes over the years, and seek out the original serial if they can. This condensed version works best as a quickie fix for sci-fi fans watching a GIF if they haven't got time to watch the original 4-hour-long serial. The editing done to this has been brutal, and sometimes the story makes little sense due to all the stuff cut out. But in its defense, the bloody thing moves at a breakneck pace, so fast you'd be booked for speeding if you try to move that fast in your car, and never slows down enough to qualify as dull. The set design is completely outdated, even by the standards of the 1950s when this re-editor was put out. But for the original time in the 1930s, it was pretty futuristic, and there were no computers back then, so you won't see any computers in this one. And of course, today's sci-fi fans will be laughing their heads off at the flying irons and spaceships with their sparking rocket engines and the infamous electric razor sound, which they make when they bzzz fly along. But that does give it a certain naive charm. The character of Killer Kane was originally a thinly veiled version of Hitler, because it was made in the 1930s and Hitler was in power then. But for 1953 they had to add an epilogue to make it stand for Stalin instead. Of course, that nasty Nazi dictator was dead for at least 8 years before when the re-editor was released. If you got the tolerance of 1930s effects and production design, pretty much that industrial baroque design with every set looking like the industrial boiler room, and can stand the early pronunciation of the word robot as robot, the Terminator should go back in time to terminate whoever it was that made that pronunciation official, and spaceships that sound as though they're powered by electric razors and sparklers, then this will be a passable time waster. I'll give Planet Outlaws a C+, 5 out of 10. It's passable, if you can stomach the production design. Now, there's no gore or nudity in this feature. Oh, and given this is in public domain, so you'll find it pretty easily. but like I said, stick with the 4-hour long serial. This one would be best as a quickie. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. Now, this public domain madness just keeps on going. This is the 5th one I've done, and there's 13 total. So it'll take me most of January to get through to it. Don't worry, I'll get to the regular stuff after that. Hope you guys are staying safe, take care, and that's it for this review.